howdy people. How y'all doing? It's a Wednesday, but it's a Friday. It's Thanksgiving Eve, so figured I'd share with you guys another educational video before I go back to truck videos. Lucky you guys, I got a lot to share with you guys in a matter of time for me, so I got a short drive ahead of me, so why not? So here we go. The ultimate question that a lot of you fellas have is, how much does one make as a driver? Well, this is a good average. An average comes in at $58,000 as an annual income. That's just a hair under $5,000, and for me, that's decent. You know, for anyone in Spokane, that's decent. Keep in mind, Spokane's a mediocre city. What I mean by mediocre city is like, it's not boonies like some people think. It might seem boonies because I'm always taking these back roads and videotape and recording with you guys, but it's a mediocre city. So the cost of living is mediocre is what I'm saying. It's a middle class city. Ain't Seattle, ain't San Francisco. So round things off, keep it simple. $5,000 a month isn't bad for Spokane, but ain't that much for Seattle, or ain't that great for San Francisco. So question is, how much does one need to work for that kind of money? Well, one needs to be willing to work. And, you know, I mean, there's sick days and there's time off that the guys take, but on an average basis, they're working 5 days a week. And what that means is sometimes they gotta work, I guess you could say they gotta work 2 weeks nonstop, and then they'll come home and take X amount of days off, and then it equates to, they've worked 5 days a week for a year. So bend it, lean it one way or another, that's what it ends up to be. Now, what does one have to do to excuse me, to get in with a decent company, and what's all that's required? Not a whole lot, guys. As the guy driving, needs to be willing to work and getting creative, getting good at playing Tetris, and a good driving record, and good manners. DOT is and does pick on hotshots more than big rigs. It's just I see them side by side. I can tell you which one gets picked on more. So as far as the driver goes, just being creative. Back to that Tetris thing, being creative on how to load a flatbed, and it's really not that whole much. It's not that different than a flat or step, just on a smaller scale. So coming from nothing to a hotshot, what some of you guys have, yeah. But if you've done flatbedding and you get to a hotshot, it ain't nothing special. Now, as far as the company goes, guys, this is a tricky one. From my experience and from my visions, this is a tricky one. I don't know how true this is, but I heard a story. A guy that came in, worked for me, very excited. He was an owner-op, and moral of the story is someone told him that if he goes to that company, he's going to make $60,000 within 45 days. So that's a month and a half. 60 grand gross in 45 days. So the guy ends up bouncing from my company and going there. Shortly after, I hear the story and I smile. The guy didn't even come close making what my guy did in parallel with him, because it's the fact of the matter, the guy left the company. You're not just gonna tell him, well, be a prick to him, because he ran with my boys, so they still stayed in contact, but he didn't even, make it to where he used to, or could have. When my guy took off, he took off, or more likely the guy, this owner-op took off, and then my driver took off. My driver ended up grossing in more than him as an owner-op, and by all means, guys, we don't pick and choose as far as, oh, you're an owner offloaded first, that's who gets a load first. It's just the way it is, you know. There's no other way around it. Now, as far as the companies go, you know, I don't know how true this is. I heard this from a third party, so I can't say, oh, there's companies like that. But, for example, for this example, if that were to be true, guys, come on, use your brains, man. Realistically. Use your freaking common sense. You're not going to make 60 grand on a little pickup in 45 days. Is it possible? Yeah. Slim chances, but I'm not going to eliminate the possibility. But to tell you that you're going to make 60 grand in 45 days, you could just blow it off as bogus. Now, my next thing that I never talk about is cars. Guys, I figured I'll talk to you about this one about cars on this one, because it's not something I talk about very often, but I figured I would just to clarify stuff up. How much money can you make hauling cars? Because all the numbers I'm talking from are freight. Is freight hauled that gets filled in with cars? And to me, cars is very often a waste of time. Equals to a waste of time. And well, I shouldn't say that. Let me get my brains together. Cars are like the fill-in pieces for us, but to some people, they're the main haul. And why are they the fill-in for us, and for some people, the main haul? Or some people's standards lower and higher than others? No, guys, it's not. And that's not quite the case. I mean, it just depends what area you're from. You know, I'm out of Spokane. It is not a highly populated area. There's no big cities around me, so I can't make much money off of cars. Now, if one were to want to do cars and cars only, dude, it's simple. You just got to be in a high populated city. For example, if you take the West Coast, you know, you got Seattle, Portland, you know, you got that dead area, Medford area, but then you get into, I'm talking about the I-5 corridor. You know, you get into the California, Sacramento, San Francisco, LA. I mean, shoot, if you live in Seattle, you can go up and down I-5 and make decent money. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying it's going to be tougher making decent money. So let's rewind the tape. Spokane area, forget it. You're not gonna make a decent living. Going up and down the I-5 corridor, you can make an okay living. Eliminate Seattle. Excuse me. Eliminate Seattle and Portland. Well, not eliminate it. Why won't I include Seattle and Portland? When it comes to cars, you got to get in with the right group of people, and cars is a huge network, just like freight. But freight isn't as involved as cars are, because cars is all about the mass move. You know, you load up X amount of cars from one yard to another, you make your money and you move on. Where there's other guys filling in the blanks on that. Meaning, you know, there's a local guy that keeps dropping off and offloading that yard. And then there's a regional guy that keeps bringing in cars from all the little cities to there, so the big rig doesn't have to go there. Or, you know, you as a 3, 4, 5 car hauler don't have to go there. Well, that's the area where it gets grayish. Once you start going into these little cities and stuff, sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. So, you start out in Spokane, not worth it. You get in Seattle, Portland, you know, Sacramento, LA, it starts to become worth it. Where it's really worth it, in my honest opinion, is in the South, Texas to Georgia, Florida, and up the East Coast. You can make some good money, guys, car hauling. I think that's the magical word right there. Texas, you know, the southern states, across to the Florida, and up and down the East Coast. You can make some decent money hauling cars. And then there's specialty cars that car haulers don't want to touch. They fall under freight for us, but a lot of times we've made some good money off of cars, automobiles or whatever, but they're not like your standard automobile. It's an oddball looking little pickup, or it's a pickup with a utility bed and whatnot. And it's not like something over dimensional. It's just something that the car haulers don't want to touch. So to be as transparent as possible with you guys. If you're in a little city, either you need a deadhead to a big city all the time and get to work with cars, or you just need to move to that big city and haul cars. I mean, I know guys that live in the California area and they haul Sacramento to LA, Monday through Friday, and they're making in some good money. They're raking in some good money. And what's that good money? They make about $1,500 a trip clean. That's one way. So he comes in, and of course that's a little, that's really on the conservative side, but that's what you're guaranteed to have, quote unquote, unlike that guy telling you you're gonna gross in 60 grand for 45 days. But anyway, so these guys make decent money car hauling, and that's something I can do out here in Spokane. So that's why I stick with freight. Moral of the story. I don't know what more I could share with you guys. Oh, you're gonna ask rates. I know that question's gonna come up. Rates, guys. This is so simple, but yet so many people just don't understand this. There's a target rate you need to come up with. You and only you know that rate. $1.50, $2, $2.50, $3. What do you want to make as from the time you start your truck to the time you shut down your truck? For that week, that 2 weeks, those 3 days. Only you know that. And here's the darn tricky part that I'm so blown away that people can't understand. You can't always meet your goal. And it's not like excuse me. It's not like hold on a second. Let me hang up on this phone call real quick. It's not like you're gonna haul every single load at your imaginary $2 a mile. You're not. Some loads you're gonna haul at $1 a mile, and other loads you're gonna haul at $5 a mile, and then you're gonna go back to 60. Well, usually it's not that low, but down $1 a mile, and then you do $1.50, and then you get back up at $2. So yeah. Anyways, fellas, I am gonna have to wrap her up, and as always, I might not make another video, but I think I answered all you guys' questions. So rates, yeah. All right, guys. As always, have a mighty fine day, and happy Thanksgiving to y'all.